Check one time, baby. Yeah. What's going on, Pip? Shout out to my brother Michael Daniels. Shout out to Sean Spence, Vanessa Estrada. What's going down? Tony Perkins, Humdulillah. What's up, Ot? Yeah. John Boma. Let's go, baby. We good? Yeah.
Well, welcome back, good people. We do have our guests, and I'm going to allow the lovely Miss Blue, who know what to do, to actually introduce our special guest because I think it's a little personal. Go ahead, Mama Blue.
Well, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen,
John.
I would like to present to you Dr. Sakiba Syed. She is an internal physician in the city of Jersey City who has been in practice close to 20 years.
Yeah, 16.
Okay, 16 years, and who happens to be my personal physician and friend,
Alhamdulillah.
family. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, Dr. Sakiba Syed.
Welcome, Doc. Welcome to the
Doc.
family.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm honored. Thank you so much for having me here. I've heard your podcast. I love your podcast, and I really think we need something like this to connect us to the community. And it's wonderful that you have people from all different backgrounds that come in and share their thoughts, because the community right now is in the process of healing, and we need to hear and get all this positive energy out there to the community so that we heal holistically.
Wow.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I like you already, Doc.
Yes.
So
yeah.
I'm not gonna allow light-skinned Keisha to attack you. But anyway, speaking of that,
I thought we was gonna go through this show without the light skinned Keisha. The introduction was Erica
What?
Bermudez. It was so nice. You were even smiling a little bit. Then you hit it with the when we get company.
I'm sorry.
When we get- you know what?
okay, I'm sorry. I refrain. I rebuke
Take it
that,
back.
ma'am. Okay, I rebuke that, guys.
Thank you.
Good people, I rebuke the yeah. Okay, Light-skinned Keisha,
Rebuke?
you're gonna
Yes,
go with the question?
we have guests.
Right.
We have a beautiful guest.
I'm sorry.
So I'm gonna behave, but I'm gonna move my water so I don't throw it on you.
Okay.
Um,
Violence.
Dr. Syed is very. Am I pronouncing your name
Yes,
correctly?
you are.
Okay, it's very nice to meet you, and please
Likewise.
excuse him. So I'm actually glad that you said to heal holistically. I had another question for you, and I'm gonna hold that one. But since you used the word holistically, I'm gonna ask this question. How do you feel about integrating traditional medicine with holistic medicine?
That's the basis of my practice. I personally believe in healing comes around when you're okay up here. And once you're okay up here, everything follows suit, right? So I think mental health is extremely important. Physical health is extremely important. And I believe in traditional medicine, yes, but I believe in, like you said, you need a village to raise a child. You need a village to raise a community, a healthy community. And I think that COVID actually exposed a lot of deficiencies in our community as a whole. And I feel like it's brought to light what deficiencies exist and what we need to fix. Like you said about Ms. Moore's story, there was a problem. People knew it existed, but there was nobody that reached out and fixed the problem. Now, history says that there were signs of abuse. Family, friends kind of knew about that. Nobody went ahead and did something about that. That's a problem.
Right.
Yes.
You know, and I think we all need to heal as a people, as a community. I think we've become used to living in isolated pods, and because of that isolation, we're not growing as a population. Then comes the holistic healing, right? You heal a community, you heal a family, you heal a person, but we all got to work together.
So do you include like natural medicines with your practice?
So if you're talking about supplementation
Right, yes.
and natural remedies, absolutely, I believe in that.
I might be changing my doctor after this
Excuse
show.
me, Excuse me, Ms. Bermudez.
sorry. I'm sorry.
Excuse me. Chauncey B, do you have a question? Because she just jumped in front of you, but that's okay.
No, I really don't have too many questions because I know Doctor, man. I'm just so happy she's here.
It's an honor.
I love her. Like, she's a great, awesome, best doctor in the world. Like, I've never had a doctor like her. I have to really say that so you get it and understand it. Beijing sensation. I just wanted you to know that.
Well,
so if you want to switch your doctor after today, we get that.
I got a question for you, Chauncey. I got a question for you. I got a question for you.
I'm listening.
So since you revere her so much, and you love her so much.
Yes.
Why don't you listen to her? But anyway, pause. Doc, I got a question. What actually made you become a doctor?
Okay, that's a beautiful question for me. I was born in Jersey City. I was born in the Jersey City Medical Center. I was raised in Jersey City. I went to the public school system, and then I went to high school over here at St. Dominic's Academy, and I did attend Rutgers. And the whole process started very young. I believe everybody's blessed with a gift, and my personal belief is that you're born to do two things. One, serve your Creator, and two, serve His creations.
That's right.
In the best way possible.
Right.
Teacher, cleaner, dry cleaner, whatever you do, do it well, so you connect to the community, right? My father always, and I love him to death, he's my mentor, he always said being a physician is one of the noblest professions because you get paid not only for doing the right thing, but you get blessings.
Right.
And I think that really resonated with me.
Wow.
And I liked science, I liked math, I liked everything, but I liked taking care of people.
Right.
And I think this was my pathway into becoming who I became.
Wow. Beautiful. Beautiful.
That
And
is
we
beautiful.
thank you for keeping two people that we love dearly healthy.
Well, trying
It's
to.
a
Anyway.
few.
Trying.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Chauncey's hard-headed.
You know.
But anyway, Mama, you got any questions for the good doctor?
Well,
and your friend?
You know, it's kind of hard because I know her. You know, we
All right,
share
well,
tea. We,
I'll take
But
over
you
because
could
I don't.
ask a question
I'll
for the
take over
audience,
'cause I
for the-
don't-
for the viewers.
But I will go ahead.
I don't want light-skinned Keisha to just take all your questions.
So I'm going to say this because yes, I've got a lot of statements, a lot of questions that I can ask, but my concern with healthcare, and especially since we have seen what COVID has done, and we finally see openly the disparity in healthcare between ethnicities and races. How can we fix it? What can you do to help fix it?
We as, again, a community needs to get involved. We need to be in the government. We need to be in healthcare. We need to voice our concerns. There's, I'm sure everybody's heard this statement, there's no such thing as a stupid question. And I think a lot of people don't ask these questions, and because they're shy, they think it's stupid. You have, again, social media is giving a lot of misinformation out there that people unfortunately are believing. And we need to have an easy pathway for the public to actually access a lot of information. I just think there's a lot of information that's being misconstrued and not asked properly. And communities are scared. I think, because of track history of governments in the past, lack of transparency, lack of involvement of all different communities has led to some sort of fear of what's going to happen to us if we do, try to get help. Or, and unfortunately, yes, COVID has shown you a lot of disparities in healthcare, unfortunately. But I'm taking this as a positive thing. I think it's pretty fortunate. I can see now where the problem is, and those communities need to be reached out to. We need to speak to those communities. Right. Some people like to get their information from the church. Well, then, okay, let's educate the church leaders. Let's educate the pastors. Let's educate those people. Some people believe in getting information from, their local communities. Well, you know what? Educate your local leaders. I just think there's such a disconnect because it's always become the haves and have-nots, the ones in
Yes.
power and the ones that are being taken care of by those powerful people. That disconnect needs to go away, and that can only go away with people asking questions, being involved. Go to your government meetings, go to your local community meetings. We need to be involved to see what's going on with our kids. It starts with kids, it starts with educate your children. The schools need to be educated. The teachers don't know what's going on. The principals, they should have seminars for families.
Absolutely.
I just think there's a disconnect where information is being transmitted. And then it's lack of, for a better word, education right now.
So it's interesting that you said that the school systems need to be educated. I was recently made aware that they're going to start putting COVID vaccine clinics in the school system, which for me is, it's kind of counterproductive because I feel like clinics should be in the school system, not just nurses' office, but just clinics in the school system for students who have poor dental health, for students who have poor eating habits. We see a lot of our children who are obese and who don't have healthy eating habits. But since this pandemic came about, they're more interested in vaccinating more. It's like putting a Band-Aid over the bigger issue. The bigger issue, like Mama Blue said, is the health disparities amongst certain demographics. So we need to really mend that problem with making everybody healthier.
I agree.
So if we make everybody healthier, then COVID wouldn't be attacking people the way that it is. Now, I said that, but I do have a question.
But until COVID did not come around, we didn't even know
the disparities. Right.
And I think this COVID actually unveiled a lot of issues that were ongoing, but we never had time to address them because we didn't know that there was a solution.
Right.
Absolutely. Can I ask one? Okay. So I recently heard in the news that children are now able to be vaccinated 5 through 12. But I heard a story that I can't remember what town it was, but some children were given the wrong dose of the vaccination.
They was given an adult dose.
They were
Yes.
given an adult dose of the vaccination. So I have a two-part question for you. One, how do you feel about children 5 through 12 now being able to get the vaccination, or even 5 through 16? Because initially you wasn't able to get it under the age of 16. So how do you feel about that? And in addition to that, what is the difference between the vaccination doses for children versus the adult dose?
Okay, that's a great question. One, I have a 11-year-old. So I have a child of that range that was not able to get the vaccine. And as a healthcare provider of the community, I saw a lot of deaths. I saw a lot of illnesses, a lot of comorbidities, of people still suffering with the long-haul symptoms of having COVID in the past. So it was definitely a reality check for me on how precious life is and how we must make sure that we can do the best we can, because this is probably the only thing we have to fight against COVID. Having said that, yes, that story, it bothers me because the people that were administering the vaccine were not educated enough to give them the right dose. And in the United States of America, there's no reason for somebody to be giving a wrong dose to a child and putting their lives at risk. So that's bad on the people that gave the dose, and lack of, again, and they should be held accountable for that so that it does not happen, because nobody wants their child to go through that.
Right.
But personally, how do I feel about it? I think it's one of the tools that we're going to need to prevent the COVID from propagating. It's still in the system, and and children do become carriers, they do not display the symptoms as much as adults do. So when you have a child that is infected and is carrying this virus, it's easy for that child to transmit to other people in the community, to teachers, to parents, to family, to friends. We won't even know that the child was infected, but the people that do succumb to the disease because of the transmission, because that child was infected, continues to propagate this infection. So I think we need to we do need to vaccinate the children. I do feel like it is the right thing to do, because studies have shown by vaccinating that subset of population, is going to help prevent the increase in transmission. So that. I agree with that. Now, with the dose difference, there is a dose difference. Children are receiving, the Pfizer vaccine is approved for children 5 to 11. And the dose is, in adults, it's 0.3 milliliters. In children, it's 0.1 milliliters.
So it's the same medication essentially, but
It's
just
absolutely
different dosing.
But
Okay,
it's
got you.
Right. So personally, yes, I do think it's very important. I was hesitant to get it, but I did get it because I believed the science. There, like I said, there's a lot of conspiracy theories going around, and again, it's a lot of misinformation. The CDC, the FDA, and you know, all these studies being done in Europe and Israel and Brazil. I mean, they are legitimate studies that are being done that are showing that this vaccine is actually helping decrease the number of deaths. Now, we're not hearing that many deaths for this reason now. Hospitalizations still do exist, but people are not dying like they were doing almost a year ago at this time.
Right. You know, I'm curious, right? When it comes to, you know, COVID as a whole, what are some of the residual effects you see that's standing for some of the people who have experienced COVID? I mean, internal medicine, what are some of the things you're seeing?
So one of the main things I'm seeing is anxiety, mental health. People have developed a fear. Number 2 is headaches. People have long-standing headaches that don't go away. Migraines have been worsened if they've had migraines in the past. A cough and shortness of breath. Lung capacity is the ability to breathe. I can't exercise like I used to, Dr. Syed. I cannot run up a flight of stairs without getting short of breath, and that's all I did before. So there are different side effects of this infection. However, again, it's a learning progress. We're learning a lot about these long haul symptoms as time goes on, but I do see a lot of fatigue, headaches, shortness of breath, decreased exercise tolerance. But the good thing is if you keep on working at it and you keep your hydration steady, you take your supplements, you know, I believe in Pedialyte and Gatorade and a lot of these coconut water. It's really great with electrolytes. It helps replenish a lot of dehydration caused by the after effects of this infection. And maintaining a good exercise routine, getting enough sunlight. You know, let's go back to the basics and understand, you know, washing your hands and, you know, trying to limit the number of people you see every day. Those things are going to help, you know.
Okay, great.
Yes,
Got
I'm
something
so
else?
glad you looked at me.
Doc,
Yes, I have a lot.
I have a question. With regard to the vaccine, do you see this being something that we will have to continue to do like we're doing with the flu shots?
That's a really good question, and actually I was reading up about this the other day, and yes, that's what they're thinking, because the titers of the immunity, that the antibody levels that you have against this do start to wane after 6 to 9 months. So they're thinking probably every 9 months to a year, depending on how well your immune system is. Like certain people that have immunocompromised conditions usually require, instead of the 2 dose, they require 3 doses because they want to build up a better immunity. So it's going to really be dependent on the type of patient. But I do foresee this right now because there are a lot of variants now. It's mutating, because if it's not going to get you this way, it's going to change itself because it's still propagating and it's trying to get, it's like cockroaches, you know, they somehow.
Can't never kill them.
They can't never, they're always having babies, you know, and
Yes.
you're like using raid and they come out with different types of raid.
Multiply.
But we just have to think ahead of the game, and I think that's what we're doing.
So I'm just curious, because you said that the reason why you feel like children should be vaccinated is because they could be carriers. Now, how does the vaccinations work? Does it protect the person who's being vaccinated? How does it protect the non-vaccinated people?
So this is really good. So if a patient is infected and becomes a carrier, okay, they carry a higher viral load. And the degree of disease is worsened by exposure to an increased viral load. If a person is vaccinated, they can still get the infection, but the viral load won't be that much.
So is
that
it less chance of
less
transmittal?
chance of transmission and less, chance of getting sick and less chance of getting hospitalized.
I couldn't answer that question.
But you're not a doctor, so I'm not going to listen to anything that you say.
In this country, I'm not a doctor, but in several others I am. But
Name one.
anyway, Doc.
Wow.
I told you, I got your back, Doc.
Dr. Love over here. Dr. Love.
That's the only doctor he is. Doctor get on my nerves. But anyway.
Anyway, Doc.
Oh, he's a mess. He's a mess.
I want you to be able to tell the people, because from everything you're saying, you truly believe in the vaccine. What do we say to those who are still so stubborn to say, I'm going to be tested 5 times a week, and I refuse to put that chip in my body? What do you say to those people?
Again, educate yourself. I don't believe in enforcing people to do anything what they don't want to do, because when you don't mentally accept this, it's not going to work for some reason.
Right.
But I think you have to ask questions. If you believe that you don't want to get the vaccine, well, then talk about it, discuss your concerns, and understand if you get sick, you're putting a lot of people at risk who are going to be taking care of you. And this is not really fair to them either, be it family members, friends, hospitals, people working there. So you have to understand, you have to be socially responsible. Either you live in a box and stay there until the pandemic's over, and understand that, then you have to practice your social distancing and wear the mask. You still need to be wearing the mask when you're in public. But having said that, it's an element of social responsibility. And then that goes back, and this is taking a full circle back into the healing of your community. What have you done to help heal your community?
Right. Well, Doc, can you
Can I ask one more question?
go ahead, young lady.
I'm sorry, but I have another question. So you said wear your mask. Now, I'm curious because viruses, they so small. Do the mask really protect you, and what is the percentage of the mask? Because if mask was solely a reason of protection, then it probably wouldn't have spread as quickly as it did. So I'm just curious to know, is it the type of mask that's important that you wear? Any mask? Some people are just like putting scarves on their faces. How does that work?
So there's certain masks that they're usually double layered or triple layered, and it's shown to, and it's usually written on the box where you buy them that these protect against droplet infections. Now, you have to understand, this is not protecting, the mask is not protecting you from getting the virus, it's protecting from you transmitting the virus. So you're trying to keep your droplets to yourself. Now, the funny thing is that what I did see is a decrease in the number of people coming in with sore throats and flu-like symptoms. And this has been going on for about a year. So the mask is doing what it's supposed to be doing, because, by this time of year, every third person that's
Strep
coming
throat,
in is
right?
strep throat.
Right,
I have
right.
an earache, my nose, my eyes.
Sound
So-
like somebody you know, huh?
But that's one thing I've seen. So it is doing something. That barrier, that protective barrier, is providing some sort of. Now, is that providing 100% protection? Absolutely not. And that's where they're still saying maintain your social distancing, especially with people that you don't know.
Right.
You
Or
know,
not around.
Or
right.
not around, or you don't know if they're vaccinated or not.
I have one more question
Sure.
before he yells at me. That's not the right mask. That is not the right mask. So you can forget that. Anyway, I do have another question. So in terms of holistic medicine and natural medicine.
You know what? Hold that thought, because we're going to take a break.
Okay.
Doc, can you just briefly give them the address
Yeah.
where they can find you, briefly, and then we're going to go into this break.
We got to pay some bills.
Right. Okay.
Right now, I'm located.
No, we're going to go back.
Okay.
Go ahead, Johnson. Hold on to
R-E-S-P-C-T, find out what it means.
1, 2.
R-E-S-P-C-T,
Break it down. Yeah, we just got to pay some bills real quick. You know how we get down for the crime in the city. You got your boy Chauncey B live on the set. Let's go. Yeah. I got nothing but respect for all the ladies in the house one time. Break it down like this.
What
Yeah.
Just for a little respect when you come home. Baby, just a little bit. Just a
One
little
time,
bit.
baby. One time. Break it down, break it down. Yeah.
Ain't gonna do you wrong while you gone.
Ooh.
Ain't gonna do you wrong 'cause I don't wanna. All I'm
Break it
asking
down.
is for a little respect when you come home.
Break it down, break it down. Hit up.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I'm out to give it.
One time, shout to the Sucker Free DJs. Yeah.
And I'm asking
Shout to Sucker Free DJs. Shout to the blacks and law enforcement agencies at hand, man. Shout to us, man. We do so much in this community, this great community. They want the address again. They want the address again. We're going to give it to you right now, Sean. Okay, Scott. Yeah.
That's all I want.
They
is a
over
little-
here cutting up, man.
That's
They
all I
over-
want is a little respect, but we're
What
gonna
you
get into
talking
that later.
about, Chauncey?
That is, they over here cutting
We're
up.
Thank
gonna
who?
get a little of that.
Elton.
Excuse me.
Elton, Miss Bermudez, he over here
Gotcha.
cutting up with her.
But anywho,
get my
welcome back,
doctor
good people.
involved.
Welcome back,
Welcome
good people.
back.
And we're gonna go immediately to the address where people can find you.
Right now, I'm located at 600 Pavonia Avenue on the second floor. That's right across the street from Journal Square, Pat Station.
And just give the people your name once again, Doc.
Dr. Sakiba Syed
Sakiba
Telephone
Syed,
number?
guys.
is 201-885-3700.
That's right. Get
That's
yourself
right.
healthy now. Get yourself healthy.
I ain't want to talk over you. I knew all of that by heart.
Good.
So did I, but we
Beautiful.
weren't going to
But do you use it though?
We wanted to hear it in your voice.
Yeah,
Mama, I
disrespectful.
believe you said you had another question,
Yes, Doc. One of the things, I know we talk about COVID, and not that COVID isn't important, but we also need to understand that there's another side to healthcare, and that's the situation and the things that the doctors go through. You have insurance companies now dictating to doctors what they can and cannot do, what tests and all of this kind of stuff. So, Doc, I want to ask you, how do you maneuver through all of this egotistical, pompous, outrageous dictation by someone who's not even a medical doctor and have not earned a right as medical doctors or even practice, and yet and still they're trying to dictate how you take care of patients in general?
So that's definitely a pet peeve of mine. And just to educate everybody, as citizens of the United States, we're all allotted a dollar amount for our health care. And the insurance companies came into existence to become administrators of that money so that they can, quote unquote, provide better care or allocate better care to patients. In doing so, they've decided on what patient or what amount of money is good enough for a patient's health care. So now they're deciding how much they should be able to pay out for you. As physicians or as any healthcare providers, we're educated to provide the best care to patients. We don't look at your insurance, we don't look at your race, we don't look at your color, your ethnic, your religion, your sex. We've got the superpower that we can see beyond all that stuff.
Right.
Unfortunately, society doesn't work that way. And getting an MRI, for example, for your knee can take almost 8 to 12 weeks. And that's a problem, because if I have pain, I want to know what's going on with my knee now,
That's
not
right.
in 12 weeks.
Right.
Insurances want you to have an x-ray, and then they want you to go for physical therapy 6 to 8 weeks, and then we'll decide whether or not you're good enough for that MRI, because they don't want to pay out. Now, again, remember, that's your money that they're holding on to,
Exactly.
but they will decide. And what gets me is, at the end of the day, nobody talks about the money that the insurance companies are making.
Yes.
If you look at the bonuses of Blue Cross Blue Shield and United Healthcare and Aetna, their CEOs, they walk around with bonuses, 26 million, 32 million. That should not even be allowed. That's money that needs to go back into the community.
Right.
That's why we're having an issue in healthcare. Because people are walking around with that kind of money, which should be actually put back into the community
It's
to
all
help the people.
systematic.
And it's so systematic that you can't see through this. It's not transparent. So I'm one of the biggest proponents in increasing transparency. If I'm going to the ER, if I'm going to my doctor's office, I want to know where every single dollar went. It's like a grocery store, right? I want to bill, I don't want surprises. I want to bill up front that, you know what, my heart, I'm having palpitations, I need an EKG. I want to know, I want to get a receipt of where that money is going.
Right.
You know, what is my doctor getting? What is the staff getting? How much is that EKG going to cost?
Right.
And so once we have that transparency, we'll at least be able to know where the money is going. But that's never going to happen.
No, it's not.
And that's why the struggle begins. That's why we fight these insurance companies. We have a lot of downtime, a lot of struggling to provide the best care. And 9 times out of 10, I can't give you the right medication because your company won't approve it. Your insurance company won't
Yes.
approve
You
it.
can't afford it.
Wow.
You can't afford it.
Which
Well-
brings me to I'm sorry.
Then that's more or less like you've got to fight the insurance company, and then you also have a little fight with the patient because you can't provide for them the services that they need. So is that part tied into why they're trying to do this health care for all? Is that what that's all about?
I think so. I think that's what socialized medicine is, and I think that's where they're headed. I think that's an ideal situation, but there are too many people involved in this game, and too many powers, I should say, involved in this game that brings us back to the question you asked: why is there so much healthcare disparity? Because we are not insurance agnostic.
Right.
I cannot provide you care because your insurance doesn't allow me to, whereas your insurance is great. Wait, welcome. You know, and that should never be the case.
Wow.
So I always talk about insurance profiling in my office. That's the biggest problem that I have.
Right.
That why should my patient, who's coming in for the same problem as this other patient, have to go to not the best doctor? Because I wouldn't want to do that to my family member. I want so that's one of my deals with all the doctors I refer to. You take the good with the bad.
Right. Right. Balance it all out.
You know, you kind of balance it all out.
Right.
But that's why you have that healthcare disparity. Some doctors don't want to take the
Right.
other insurance.
They
They will
refuse
refuse to take it because they won't get paid as much. And I understand because it's a lot of liability and everything, but then it's not the fault of the doctors. That's when the insurance companies need to step up their game and say, you know what, this patient, that's where equity comes into play. Why am I not equal?
Right. Right. Wow.
That's a good point.
So then my question, I'll take it to the next level. Our leaders need to have that. The worst insurance should go to our leaders.
Oh, yeah, those in
They- they
Congress,
need- they need to
our
experience that.
congressmen
Right.
and our
That
senators,
definitely
yes.
be a change.
Then
right.
changes will happen.
Happen. Absolutely.
Then, right, because then everything. So I think we need to work on that, and that can only happen when we're all involved. We speak up.
Right.
We say, you know what, we need change. Behind closed doors, we need to be involved in those meetings because apparently they're supposed to be open for everybody.
That's
Right.
right.
So I guess it's just lack of awareness.
I wanted to go back to the question I was going to ask right before the break. You talked about holistic medicine and we talked about the vaccine. And I just wanted to know, in terms of holistic medicine and natural medicines, how do you feel, or do you feel that there can be preventative measures taken with natural and holistic medicines as opposed to taking a vaccine, or a combination of holistic medicine and the vaccination?
So I believe in the latter one. I think it's a combination. I always tell my patients and my family and myself, you know, zinc is great to take once a day. Vitamin C, you know,
take
take
that.
your vitamin C.
Just
take,
told him to take zinc.
Zinc is great, echinacea is great, elderberry is great.
I've been taking zinc for the last
vitamin-
15 years.
Vitamin D is great. You need stuff to improve our immune system.
What IUs should they be taking? I think that's the important
A little
part.
sea moss. That's how you get the
Sea moss.
bicep like that.
But please clearly get
Yes.
them to
doctor
understand
in
that it's a
several countries.
combination.
It's a combination.
And it's important, the dosage. Even with
Right.
natural medicine, they
Absolutely.
have dosages that you're supposed to take, like with vitamin D. particularly this time of year, we all should be consuming vitamin D on this side of the.
So
Don't start.
Because of the lack of sun, yeah.
Yes.
So
So,
this-
what is the IUs that we should be taking for these particular supplements?
Supplement.
Yes.
So this goes back to going back to your doctor. See, is there's no cookbook medicine. This is you need to know what you're deficient in first of all, because the amount of vitamin D that you need might be very different from what I need. And I need a baseline blood test to see how deficient am I. Do I take only the 400? Now, there are side effects of taking too much supplementations. I've had patients who were taking too much and wound up with kidney stones. So we got to be very careful when we take a lot of supplements. We need to be very transparent with our doctors, because I always ask them, do you take any medications? They're like, no, I don't take anything at all.
But they don't mention the
The
supplements.
vitamins and supplements, and then you have to ask them, what are you taking?
So the blood test, I'm sorry to cut you off. You can, because I know when you go to certain blood tests, and that goes back to insurance paying for certain things. Because now in my insurance particularly doesn't pay for the vitamin D test anymore unless you request it and I have to pay out of pocket. So can you go to a doctor and ask specifically, I want a blood test for all of the minerals and vitamins that I'm lacking?
So usually, the get out of jail card is usually on your annual wellness visit. So when you go for your annual wellness visit, they usually will pay for your blood test at that time once a year. Besides that, you'll probably have to pay out of pocket for this
Gotcha.
again. But yes, it's very important to see what supplements you can and cannot take.
Okay.
But on the whole, generally speaking, not necessarily for everybody, but usually they recommend 200 IUs, international for vitamin D, 1,000 milligrams of vitamin C once a day, drinking lots of water. Now, water is extremely important. Hydration is extremely important. Coconut water, Pedialyte, Gatorade Zero, Gatorade, whatever floats your boat. You want to take something that continuously hydrates you. The drier you are, the slower your immune system is to respond to fighting off of infections.
Wow, you hear that, people? Hydrate.
Yes.
And if you want to have beautiful skin, like Sakiba, hydrate.
Hydrate.
Yeah, and like Collie the Great. Also,
What can
Doc,
we give him so we could tone down the ego? Could you prescribe something? Did you bring your
Sticking out and
prescription
everything
book
now.
with you,
I
doctor?
don't like his attitude.
We need something to tone that down.
Excuse me?
I don't like his attitude.
I'm offended almost. All right. Actually, it's some ego juice. I took a shot of it before the show started.
That green machine juice? is
Yes,
that- yeah.
absolutely.
What's
It
that
does
green
wonders.
slime?
It does wonders. It has a little bit of some everything in it. One of the main proponents is the sea moss. Notice how my skin glisten and my hair. Anyway, Doc, I do want to ask you, what would you suggest as being one of the basic vitamins? Like a lot of people to this day, for some reason, don't even take a basic essential vitamin. So if I came into your office as being your patient for the very first day, and I say, Doc, I've been having lack of energy. What recommendation would you recommend for a basic vitamin?
Okay, so that's a really good, I get that question a lot. I will always do your blood test first.
Right.
I will first establish your baseline to see what you have, what you don't have. And a multivitamin, anything over the counter. For women, I always recommend prenatal vitamins. I mean, it's safe for you and the baby too, so it's got to be safe. So that's always a healthy alternative. For men, usually, if everything's fine, even a Centrum is okay, one a day is okay, but always have your baseline blood tests done. You want to make sure your kidneys are working well. You want to make sure your liver functions well. A lot of these things get processed through the liver and kidneys. That needs to be established that that's okay. But besides that, I think hydration and maintaining a healthy lifestyle. 30 to 45 minutes of walking a day is so important. If you track the amount of steps you take, it's usually less than 1,500 to 2,000. Normally, people should be walking 6,000 to 10,000 to make an
Daily?
effect daily on your body. And I think these things we've just, because, everybody's got a car, everybody's Ubering everywhere, it's not convenient to walk anymore. When you lose touch of the basics, you're going to compound a lot of other things onto your own self. In addition to being on the phone all the time or on the computer all the time, all this fluorescent negative energy, it does bear a negative effect on your body.
You know, recently the trend has been this intermittent fasting crave. What is your opinion on the intermittent fasting?
I believe in it.
Okay.
I've done it myself.
It's a good way to lose weight
It's a good
quickly.
way to lose weight, and it's a good way to actually reboot your system.
Okay.
Because you know what? You teach your body to burn off or use fat as fuel. Okay? So what happens is that you start using your stored body fats, which include the fats in your liver and it's a cleansing, and your
Okay.
body gets more efficient. So an intermittent way, it's a great way of losing weight. It's a great way of refocusing on what's the good sources of energy, and you compound that with keto dieting or keto fasting
Right.
also, so that also helps with a healthy lifestyle.
Okay.
People do that for a little bit of weight, but again, remember, we should teach ourselves how to eat healthy,
Okay.
not these fad diets that make us lose weight and then we gain it back when
Right
we go
back.
back to normal.
And before that's done, people, you have to come to the good doctor to get your blood work done before that
Yes.
begins. All right?
Absolutely.
Say that. Say that.
600 Pavonia Avenue,
Right.
Jersey City,
City,
New
New Jersey.
Jersey. Second floor, Dr. Sakiba Syed.
Yes.
201-885-3700.
Wow,
It's your
wow.
love.
Beautiful.
Thank
It's
you.
great, man. It's great that light skin Keisha has a memory like that.
Wow.
But we were really impressed, and we thank you for actually coming to the show, Doc. We were welcome to have you back. Chauncey B as well. You got anything to say to your good doctor here? Any closing remarks here?
Thank you for coming
Oh,
down.
it's an honor. It's an honor, and I think
Oh, look at him
We've been-
blushing
We've
over
been
there.
we've been preaching about it for a while. We've been talking
yes,
about her coming
yes.
on. We was just trying to get the times together, and I'm so thankful that you came on.
I'm
just
so
to
grateful you had me
put
here.
this out in the world, in
Thank
the
you.
community, that, you know, everything that you displayed today, that was important, and I'm glad you got to do that. Because she been wanting to do it. She wants to come on here again, too.
Right.
Yes,
Most definitely.
absolutely.
She
We
wants
would
to
love-
come
we
on.
would love to have you.
Absolutely.
She said it. She
I
like she
did.
wants to
Mama,
be a
you
part
have,
of it.
any,
I
you
would
have
love it.
anything in closing?
Well,
Yeah.
we don't have time for the relationship question.
No,
that would
no,
really
we,
get
we,
her.
we don't. We don't.
Next
but
time
guess
you
what?
come,
Yeah,
We
5
would
minutes,
definitely.
5 minutes.
We don't have time for a relationship question, but we definitely invite you back.
I would be honored.
Doc, we appreciate you. And also, anything in closing?
Of course, I have something
I
to
didn't
close.
get to
Go
say
ahead.
my clothes.
Oh, I'm
but
sorry.
But no,
Go
no,
ahead.
go ahead,
Go ahead,
Erica.
go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
Sorry, Mama.
Go ahead,
You're
Erica.
doing too much,
No, go
huh?
ahead.
You're doing too much.
He's on a
huh?
roll. Don't
Go
give him
ahead.
no coffee after 5 o'clock.
I just really want to know what I can give him to just mute him. Just, is there anything you could
That's really-
prescribe?
A
That's
mute
my
button.
closing.
That's really offensive.
That's my closing.
Well,
But thank you
I
so
love it.
much.
Well,
I
well,
love your energy, your beautiful
thank
spirit,
you.
beautiful person,
Well,
and I
you.
thank you for coming.
Well, Doc, health is wealth, and we definitely want to appreciate you from coming through. Guys, continue to take COVID as being serious, and take all the preventive measures that the good doctor suggested. Also, again, that address again, because I think that people need to know.
600 Pavonia Avenue, second floor, Jersey City, New Jersey. And again, telephone number 201-885-3700. And Doc, I'd just like to say, from my family to yours, because I know the whole family,
Wow.
everybody,
Yes,
the children, the parents, everybody. It has been a pleasure and an honor to be your patient for all of these years. It really has been.
It's been an honor for me to serve.
And we have
you.
fun.
We do.
I definitely could tell. You know, in closing, I also want to thank some of the viewers that consistently watch us. Monica
Yes.
Shore. I want to give a shout out to JB, who always blowing up the comments, the VP. Sean Spence. Anyone else you want to include?
JB, you missed
I want
it
to say this again. I gave it
today.
earlier. I shouted out Michael Daniels. I really shouted him out because yesterday he put on a nice display with the children. Am I right, Mama? He
Yeah.
taught a class. He taught the class for 2 hours.
No, he
Like,
didn't. He did not
he-
teach the class. He mesmerized the students.
That's what
Beautiful, beautiful.
She just got
He
to just.
mesmerized the students.
That's
When he walked in the door, it was like,
that's
hey.
that's the
He
good-
stepped up.
That's
He
the good
stepped
brother,
up.
the good
Yes.
blessed brother from the Hudson County Department of Corrections
Yes.
Police, one of our finest. Thank you very much.
Yes.
Also, I do want to shout out and congratulate Captain Morrell, who was recently promoted, and Captain Dilly. We salute you
Congratulations.
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 Two of the
Yes.
Hudson County Correction Police finest.
right.
And we want to thank you and give a huge shout out to those guys for doing what they do. Also, to some of my other brave brothers that's in Hudson County Corrections, when it comes to COVID, please take a lot of suggestions that she made. That environment is very hostile, close contact. Let's remember to keep the barriers on. Let's do whatever we can do to keep our immune system up.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Again, health is definitely wealth, and we want to keep the family and the children safe.
That's right.
Absolutely.
All right. And Chauncey B, man, I
gonna
want to
take
thank
it away.
Scott.
Yeah, we
Hold
gotta
on.
thank
I wanna
Scott.
Scott.
How could
You gotta
you
thank
not?
Scott Fisher, man.
Thank you
my
so
brother.
much, Scott.
That is the
Turning
ultimate.
Point Studios.
Right.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Scott
most
is the
definitely.
ultimate producer on the set.
That's
hands
right.
down.
Yes.
The
That's right.
ultimate.
And Chauncey
gotta
B,
get
before
Scott
you,
over here
yes, we
soon.
do. Chauncey B,
He need
before
to be
you
on
take
this
him
side
away,
of the
please tell
camera.
him where you're going to be at on Saturday, please, sir.
This Saturday, I'll be back at 146 Front Street, Secaucus, New Jersey. Blackjack Mulligan's, 10 p.m. The show starts. Then I'm turning around, party people. I'll be back in Jersey City for the brunching. If you're brunching with me, you can't brunch with nobody but Chauncey B.
Hey.
From 1 to 5. 25
Hey.
cent mimosas, mama. I had to say mama.
Chauncey B,
I'm
take
on
it
my
away,
way,
brother.
baby.
Thank y'all.
I'll be right there.
When you love someone,
Hey.
Yeah,
He-
yeah.
and that's one thing I'm proud to say.
One time. Hold up.
I'm so glad we reached an understanding. Now
Yeah, thank y'all all for tuning in, man. I'll catch y'all at the next one. Peace and love, y'all. Salute.
So now my love to you, baby, I surrender. Get ready tonight. Gonna make this a night to remember. Get ready.
Really?
Did you see
Okay.
Yeah,
what,
And my cardiologist is bad.
yeah.
Wow, okay.
The brother
the
is
best.
bad.
Look.
He
did you
is.
see what
He's the best.
Okay. Yeah, but that's true,
But
right?
if there's
Erica?
anything you want me to
That's true,
talk
right?
about,
Like a lot
You
of
let me
times, a lot of
As a matter
times
of
we
fact-
stick with professional positions.
Carly
Yes, that we're not
and
comfortable with.
Erica.
if there's anything you want me to talk about and to the community or address immunizations or screenings or lung cancer or something, breast cancer, anything, let me know.
Oh, most definitely.
So,
We'll
you
put
know,
something
it's always
together.
good to give them information.
Right.
If there's always good, you know.
Yes.
And one other
positive
thing we didn't talk about, Sakiba